Question 161. What is the simplest way to back up an EBS volume? And the options are A. Store the EBS volume in S3. B. Store the EBS volume in an RDS database. C. Create an EBS snapshot. D. Store the EBS volume in DynamoDB. And the correct answer is option C. Create an EBS snapshot. Explanation. You can back up the data on your Amazon EBS volumes to Amazon S3 by taking point-in-time snapshots. Option A is incorrect. Taking EBS snapshot is the easiest way to back up. These snapshots can be stored in S3. Option B and D are incorrect. These are just distractors. You cannot store snapshots in RDS or DynamoDB. Next question. A travel website has set up hundreds of EC2 instances in a VPC for their online travel booking website. They now have a concern that not all of the EC2 instances are being utilized. Which of the below mentioned services can help you find underutilized resources in AWS? And the options are A. AWS CloudWatch, B. AWS Trusted Advisor, C. CloudTrail, D. AWS Artifact. And the correct answer is option B. AWS Trusted Advisor. Explanation. AWS Trusted Advisors provides recommendations that help you follow AWS best practices. Trusted Advisor evaluates your account by using checks. These checks identify ways to optimize your AWS infrastructure, improve security and performance, reduce cost, and monitor service quotas. You can then follow the check recommendations to optimize your services and resources. Option A is incorrect. AWS CloudWatch collects monitoring and operational data in the form of logs, metrics, and events and visualizes it using automated dashboards, so you can get a unified view of your AWS resources, applications, and services that run on AWS and on premises. Option C is incorrect. AWS CloudTrail is an AWS service that helps you enable governance, compliance, and operational and risk auditing of your AWS account. Actions taken by a user, role, or an AWS service are recorded as events in CloudTrail. Option D is incorrect. AWS Artifact is your go-to central resource for compliance-related information that matters to you. It provides on-demand access to AWS security and compliance reports and select online agreements. Next question. In which of the following AWS resources is the customer responsible for the infrastructure-related security configurations? And the options are A. Amazon RDS, B. Amazon DynamoDB, C. Amazon EC2, D. AWS Fargate. And the correct answer is option C. Amazon EC2. Explanation. Amazon EC2 is an infrastructure as a service for which customers are responsible for the security and the management of guest operating systems. Options A, B, and D are incorrect, as all these resources are part of abstracted services for which AWS is responsible for the security and infrastructure layer. Customers are responsible for data that is saved on these resources. Next question. Which of the following statements regarding Amazon Athena are accurate? Select two options. And the options are A. Amazon Athena queries data directly from Amazon S3. B. Amazon Athena is not suitable for complex analysis, such as large joins, Windows functions, and arrays. C. Amazon Athena resources are located in accordance to processing and memory requirements prior to deployment. D. Amazon Athena is compatible with data formats such as CSV, JSON, ORC, AVRO, and Parquet. And the correct answer is option A. Amazon Athena queries data directly from Amazon S3. And D. Amazon Athena is compatible with data formats such as CSV, JSON, ORC, AVRO, and Parquet. Explanation. Amazon Athena is an interactive query service that makes it easy to analyze data in Amazon S3 using standard SQL. Athena is serverless, so there is no infrastructure to manage, and you pay only for the queries that you run. The service is compatible with the regular data formats that include CSV, JSON, ORC, AVRO, and Parquet. Option B is incorrect because Amazon Athena can query big data, complex analysis such as large joins, window functions, and arrays. Option C is incorrect because Amazon Athena is serverless. Thus, the service scales following the resource demands. No prior resource planning is necessary. Option E is incorrect because Amazon Athena uses SQL only. Next question. An infrastructure administrator manages a large number of AWS resources spread across multiple AWS regions. The organization would like to keep track of configuration changes on all resources and maintain a configuration inventory. What is the best service to use? And the options are A. AWS System Manager Inventory, B. AWS Secrets Manager, C. AWS Config, D. AWS Cloud Formation. And the correct answer is option C. AWS Config. Explanation. AWS Config will meet the scenario requirements. The service allows the administrator to monitor and record configuration changes on AWS resources in their account. The service also allows the administrator to create a resource configuration inventory. Option A is incorrect because AWS System Manager Inventory provides visibility into your AWS computing environment. You can use inventory to collect metadata from your managed nodes. Option B is incorrect because Secrets Manager enables you to replace hard-coded credentials in your code, including passwords, with an API call to Secrets Manager to retrieve the secret programmatically. Option D is incorrect because AWS Cloud Formation will allow the administrator to create templates of resources such as EC2 instances and RDS instances, but not the actual configurations in these resources. Next question. You have an application hosted on AWS leveraging Route 53. You need to ensure that blue-green deployments are possible in this architecture. Which Route 53 routing policy should you ideally use to achieve blue-green deployments? And the options are A. Simple routing, B. Weighted routing, C. Latency-based routing, D. Geo-proximity routing. And the correct answer is option B. Weighted routing. Explanation. Weighted routing is ideal for blue-green deployments. Weighted routing lets you associate multiple resources with a single domain name or subdomain name and choose how much traffic is routed to each resource. This can be useful for a variety of purposes, including load balancing and testing new versions of the software. Options are incorrect based on the below descriptions. Number 1. Simple routing policy. Use for a single resource that performs a given function for your domain. For example, a web server that serves content for the example.com website. You can use simple routing to create records in a private hosted zone. Number 2. Failover routing policy. Use when you want to configure active-passive failover. You can use failover routing to create records in a private hosted zone. Number 3. Geolocation routing policy. Use when you want to route traffic based on the location of your users. You can use geolocation routing to create records in a private hosted zone. Number 4. Geo-proximity routing policy. Use when you want to route traffic based on the location of your resources and optionally shift traffic from resources in one location to resources in another. Number 5. Latency routing policy. Use when you have resources in multiple AWS regions and you want to route traffic to the region that provides the best latency. You can use latency routing to create records in a private hosted zone. Number 6. IP-based routing policy. Use when you want to route traffic based on the location of your users and have the IP addresses that the traffic originates from. Number 7. Multi-valve answer routing policy. Use when you want root repository to respond to DNS queries with up to 8 healthy records selected at random. You can use multi-value answer routing to create records in a private hosted zone. Number 8. Weighted routing policy. Used to route traffic to multiple resources in proportions that you specify. You can use weighted routing to create records in a private hosted zone. Next question. A company does not want to manage their database. Which of the following services is the fully managed NoSQL database provided by AWS? And the options are A. Amazon RDS, B. Amazon DynamoDB, C. Amazon Redshift, D. Amazon EMR. And the correct answer is option B. Amazon DynamoDB. Explanation. DynamoDB is a fully managed NoSQL offering provided by AWS. It is now available in most regions for users to consume. Option A is incorrect. Amazon Relational Database Service is a collection of relational databases. Option C is incorrect. Amazon Redshift is a fully managed data warehouse service in the cloud. You can start with just a few hundred gigabytes of data and scale to a petabyte or more. This enables you to use your data to acquire new insights for your business and customers. Option D is incorrect. Amazon EMR, previously called Amazon Elastic MapReduce, is a managed cluster platform that simplifies running big data frameworks such as Apache Hadoop and Apache Spark on AWS to process and analyze vast amounts of data. Next question. What tool can be used to estimate the cost of a new solution that will be deployed on AWS cloud infrastructure? And the options are A. AWS Cost and Uses Report, B. AWS Budgets, C. AWS Cost Explorer, D. AWS Pricing Calculator. And the correct answer is option D. AWS Pricing Calculator. Explanation. AWS Pricing Calculator helps create estimated usage cost for all resources to be deployed on AWS cloud infrastructure. Option A is incorrect, as AWS Cost and Uses Report will provide detailed data for usage summary. Option B is incorrect, as AWS Budget can set a custom budget to track uses for AWS resources. Option C is incorrect, as AWS Cost Explorer can be used to analyze and manage AWS uses. Next question. A small finance institute is looking for an option of launching an accounting application in AWS Cloud. Which of the following services can be used for quick launch with a pre-configured resource? And the options are A. Amazon Workspaces, B. AWS Elastic Beanstalk, C. AWS Batch, D. Amazon Light Sail. And the correct answer is option D. Amazon Light Sail. Explanation. Amazon Light Sail is a virtual private server which can be used to quickly launch business applications in AWS Cloud at a low cost. It can also be used to launch simple websites and to set up a test environment. These applications are launched on a pre-configured resource in an AWS cloud. Option A is incorrect, as Amazon Workspaces provides a secure managed service for virtual desktops for remote users. It is not suitable for launching a quick business application. Option B is incorrect, as AWS Elastic Beanstalk deploys web applications on AWS infrastructure. Once application code is uploaded, AWS Elastic Beanstalk handles deployment along with capacity provisioning, auto-scaling, load balancing, and health monitoring. Amazon Light Sail is better suited for simple applications and when flexibility in resource configurations is not required. Option C is incorrect, as AWS Batch can be used for managed batch processing activities using compute like Amazon EC2, AWS Fargate, or Spot Instance. Next question. Which of the following services helps provide access to resources hosted in the AWS cloud from on-premises infrastructure? Select two options, and the options are A. AWS VPC, B. AWS VPN, C. AWS Direct Connect, D. AWS Express Route. And the correct answer is option B. AWS VPN and option C. AWS Direct Connect. Explanation. AWS Direct Connect makes it easy to establish a dedicated network connection from your premises to AWS. Using AWS Direct Connect, you can establish private connectivity between AWS and your data center, office, or co-location environment, which in many cases can reduce your network cost, increase bandwidth, throughput, and provide a more consistent network experience than internet-based connections. AWS Virtual Private Network Solutions establish secure connections between your on-premises networks, remote offices, client devices, and the AWS global network. Option A is incorrect. Amazon Virtual Private Cloud enables you to launch AWS resources into a virtual network that you have defined. This virtual network closely resembles a traditional network that would operate in your own data center, with the benefits of using the scalable infrastructure of AWS. Option D is incorrect. Express Route is not an AWS concept. Next question. Which of the following is the template that contains the software configuration to launch an EC2 instance? And the options are A. EBS volumes, B. AMI, C. EC2 snapshot, D. EBS snapshot. And the correct answer is option B. AMI. Explanation. An Amazon Machine Image, AMI, provides the information required to launch an instance, which is a virtual server in the cloud. You specify an AMI when you launch an instance, and you can launch as many instances from the AMI as you need. You can also launch instances from as many different AMIs as you need. Other options are incorrect. Snapshots are used for backup. EBS volumes are storages attached to EC2. Next question. You have an application that has been Dockerized and is ready to be deployed. You plan on using the Elastic Container Service and Docker images. There must be somewhere to store the Docker images. What would you use for this purpose? And the options are A. User ECR to store the Docker images, B. User S3 to store the Docker images and link from ECS, C. User EC2 to store the Docker images and refer from ECS service, D. User RDS to store the Docker images. And the correct answer is option A. User ECR to store the Docker images. Explanation. Amazon Elastic Container Registry is a fully managed container registry that makes it easy to store, manage, share, and deploy your container images and artifacts anywhere. Amazon ECR eliminates the need to operate your own container repositories or worry about scaling the underlying infrastructure. Amazon ECR hosts your images in a highly available and high-performance architecture, allowing you to reliably deploy images for your container applications. You can share container software privately within your organization or publicly worldwide for anyone to discover and download. For example, developers can search the ECR public gallery for an operating system image that is geo-replicated for high availability and faster downloads. Amazon ECR works with Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service, Amazon Elastic Container Service, and AWS Lambda, simplifying your deployment to production workflow, and AWS Fargate for one-click deployments. All other options are incorrect, as only ECR can store and serve Docker images. Next question. You are a SysOps administrator and you are in the process of moving several on-premises custom scripts to your AWS EC2 environment. These scripts manage several basic tasks that run on a Linux operating system and manage data within a file system, and also execute several unique reports. You are tasked with minimizing cost and also making sure these scripts are highly available. What resource below would you choose to complete this task? And the options are A. AWS Lambda, B. AWS Direct Connect, C. AWS ECS, D. AWS CloudFront. And the correct answer is option A. AWS Lambda. Explanation. AWS Lambda is an AWS resource that gives you the ability to run custom code in situations where you do not have to create and provision physical servers. It is a highly valuable solution where you are only changed for the compute time and not for the execution time of the script. You can execute the Lambda script on multiple types of backend services and applications with no administration task. Lambda scripts can be configured to execute on any AWS service and can be triggered based on multiple types of events. Amazon ECS is not correct because ECS is a fully managed container orchestration service that helps you easily deploy, manage, and scale containerized applications. It is not a cost-effective solution to run custom scripts. Amazon CloudFront is an AWS resource that reduces network bandwidth and increases the speed at which data travels by moving data into specific geographic locations called edge locations. The purpose of Amazon CloudFront is to speed up the distribution of data so that application functional and overall performance is increased. This AWS resource is used for moving web content and not used for running custom scripts. AWS Direct Connect is a networking connection that links your on-premises network to the AWS network. The connection is made with a common Great Ethernet fiber optic cable. A router is used to connect both networks from one end to the other. This is not a resource used for executing or managing scripts on an application or web server. Thank you for watching this video. Buy our AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner CLF-C01 premium questions with 50% off. Check link in the description.